According to neurobiologists, we're born with 70% of our genetic structure yet to be formed. It's something that happens to us as we grow and experience life. When as many as 1 in 5 kids is sexually abused during childhood, what happens to their genetic structures? Their brains and bodies are changed by that trauma in some very negative ways. Now, some of the effects of child sexual abuse can be seen by physicians and family in the short term, but perhaps more difficult to measure are the effects that live on far beyond the abuse, both mental and physical. The list of effects is enormous and can't be covered in one slide or even two. But according to a statement from the American Psychological Association, children who disclose and deal with the abuse soon after it happens may be less traumatized than those who live with the secret for years. For this reason, there are groups of professionals who seek to lessen the lifetime effects through early intervention and support. Finding and treating abuse early is the key to breaking the cycle of abuse and trauma, and building self-esteem and trust in those future adults. So how do we do that? Increasingly, we turn to Child Advocacy Centers. CACs are child-centered facilities who seek to lessen the damage of child sexual abuse by focusing solely on the victims and their families. They're the centerpiece in what is known as a multidisciplinary team, or MDT. In the old days, when abuse was reported, kids and their families were victimized not only by the abuse itself, but by the process of being questioned by doctors, police, attorneys, school counselors, you name it. Now we try to limit children's contact with all these potentially scary grown-ups, and specially trained child advocates perform trauma-informed investigations, including forensic interviews, to gather the best information from those children while staying focused on reducing the trauma to that child. But CACs provide services beyond investigation. They're a resource to support and educate not only the families, but law enforcement, schools, and other counselors as well. On our end of the state, we're served by Western Kansas Child Advocacy Center, headquartered in Scott City. As well as providing counseling and outreach from their main location, this CAC has 3 satellite locations, which are specially outfitted with child-friendly decor and recording equipment. These are used for conducting forensic interviews at the convenience of the families. When this option doesn't work, our CAC also has 2 mobile units to provide on-site support. They also lead multidisciplinary teams in each county they serve to keep all the other responders trauma-informed and focused on the children's needs. On the nationwide scale, the National Children's Alliance sets the standard and provides certification and support for child advocacy centers across the U.S., as well as maintaining data on each state. Last year in Kansas, Child Advocacy Centers served nearly 4,000 kids. Of those, almost 3,200 were confirmed victims of sexual abuse. Consistent with national statistics, 90% of those kids had some kind of pre-existing relationship, whether family or friend, with the perpetrators. Unfortunately, this is one statistic that doesn't seem to change through the years. The good news is, the new prevalence of CACs and MDTs has seen the number of child sex abuse victims who are offered counseling or who complete counseling programs steadily growing. When you hear statistics about the dollars associated with sexual abuse, this is the greatest associated expense and comes increasingly from private funds. If you're in a job or situation where you frequently come in contact with children, you can participate in Finding Words. This is a training program for potential responders to abuse and provides you with the tools to gather information from children without causing unintended trauma. The 100 Women campaign, of which I'm a part, is a group of women in Western Kansas who've committed to tackling child sexual abuse head-on and raising those private funds. You can watch for our events and donate to the cause. Or you can give money directly by contacting the CAC. Even if you can't donate, you can educate yourself by contacting the National Children's Alliance for more information.